What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Post-Millennial Breakdown. We're talking about transportation and what? Housing? Yes, transportation and housing. Your freshman year at NYU, asterisk during the first global pandemic in 100 years.
So I think it is worthwhile to look at different rideshare apps, Lyft, Via, Uber, see which ones have better prices, if you can get coupons for joining, Via, for instance.
What is Via? Talk about Via.
Oh my god. So Via is a rideshare company. Kind of their goal was to have a smaller company with bigger cars, but the idea was that they would charge you less and it would be a bigger car, so you could have the experience of kind of being on a bus and meet people and have a more collective experience, which in the city it can be something people need at times.
I don't know about that.
Because on the subway no one talks to be like, oh, if you take the same, you take a Via every morning to
That's
go to
how
work.
I like it.
Yeah, well, that's true. I never had a fake ID, so I just went to buses to socialize.
Yeah, that was their idea, and also that they would have a more thorough process of checking who their drivers are because they were smaller. And
If you have significantly more riders, then you have a better chance of overpowering the rogue driver.
That's true as well. Uber pool could be safer than a regular pool. One could argue before the pandemic.
Than a regular
Certainly.
Than a regular pool? Yeah. Uber pool. You heard it here first, everybody. Uber pool is safer than a regular pool. I mean, you can't drown in an Uber pool. I mean, unless you really try.
Yeah, and you can't get kidnapped in a pool.
That's not true.
Okay, yeah. But
I feel like you're more likely to get kidnapped in a pool than drown in an Uber pool.
Now we're gonna zoom in on Tina's face as she's getting annoyed by us.
I would just like to say that safety isn't everything. Sometimes
Safety is not everything. You heard it here first, folks. I'm just going to keep saying that. You heard it here first.
sometimes you just want to get to where you're going, and this is why I am a user of City Bike, and a lot of people...
My name is Christina Gayton.
Oh my god, you've been
My
city
name is
biking for
Christina
3 years.
Hi, Christina.
Yeah.
City Bikes Anonymous.
Exactly. Usually when I tell people that, oh yeah, I use City Bike in the city, they're like, oh, you're crazy. You bike in the city? And
Yeah, that's my parents' reaction. They care about you, Christina.
I do endorse helmets as my political statement.
Wear a fucking helmet.
Yeah,
City
okay.
Bike can be very safe as long as you stay in the bike lane, aren't listening to loud music while you're biking.
Or any music.
And yeah, I love using it because oftentimes it can be even faster than the subway if you're just going, a shorter distance. And I feel like sometimes it can be more reliable than the subway. And now with coronavirus, you get to stay away from people more. But if you don't want to use a public service, you can also get your own bike in the city if your apartment has storage, or you can
Most
get...
of the dorms do.
Yeah, or you can get one of those regular skateboards, or you can get an electric skateboard.
Oh, man.
Those things are pretty
or
cool.
like a razor scooter. I've seen some
Or that.
badasses
Yeah.
riding their razor scooters.
How much faster is a razor scooter than walking?
It's faster for sure.
No.
manual
Like
ones.
I'm talking like a razor scooter,
The
like the little metal ones
the
with like
playground
little,
ones.
like the blue or green wheels and like
It's
it says razor on
marginally
it.
faster, I
It
know
is.
that.
And you probably
I just feel like I wouldn't want to carry around a razor scooter.
They
Like
fold
after
up.
I
They
get...
can fit in your backpack.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
and
They fold up that much?
You can do sick fucking tricks.
Oh yeah, one more thing. With the city bike, I would recommend if you do want to start city biking, maybe just try one ride first to see if it's for you. Buying one ride at a time, that's expensive, but if you buy the annual membership, which is maybe $150 or $180 a year, it's very cost efficient, like relative to the subway.
Well, thank you for that, Christina.
You're welcome.
One thing I've been using to bring myself around the city, very cost efficient, free in fact, is me ol' stompers.
Do you guys walk here from Stuytown?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do all the time.
Jesus,
Yeah, that's why we don't want to keep coming here.
that's
all
like
the
half
time.
an hour.
It is half an
It's
hour.
not that bad.
It's like 30 blocks.
The
You guys
streets
you
of New
guys
York
could
City.
take like the either JFC over to
Are we
like,
rich?
Canal.
Do we look like we're rich?
Yeah, do you think we have the 275 between the two of us so that we can squeeze between one turnstile slot?
Just hop the turnstile. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah,
I give a
that's
fuck.
true.
Fuck the MTA.
But if
Fuck
you
the
get
MTA,
caught,
you heard
if
it here
get caught,
first.
the fine is pretty.
It's
Yeah.
$100.
And they are pretty prejudiced here in the city. Where
Oh,
if
yeah.
you are in a not as rich neighborhood,
That's true.
they're-
Like here-
you're much more likely.
Like
to be
here on
caught.
Delancey, the enforcement is like extremely biased to be more intense because
I've
we have
never-
a lower income neighborhood.
I've never hopped a turnstile before,
Me
mostly
either.
because I'm too nervous.
Hey, just a little tip
but-
for NYU freshmen. If you're ever leaving through the door, like the push door on the subway, and you see people coming in, hold that shit open. Hold that shit open. Be a homie, okay?
But if you have money, pay for things. Or take it for free and give someone else your swipe.
Exactly.
We wanted to
alright,
talk
we
a
can
little
talk
bit
about
about
bubbles, yeah.
housing briefly, I guess. And I'll just paddle back to Facebook groups and say that there's a lot of Facebook groups for housing, you know, NYU housing, NYC housing, both for sublets and for rentals, and for finding furniture. You can find furniture for free sometimes on Facebook or for really cheap, or if you go on Craigslist, you can find it for free or really cheap. They do have a free section on Craigslist. And that is literally all I had to say about housing.
With housing, I would say one thing is
Hang in there, guys. I know it's bad right now. Watermelon chicken salad.
Yeah.
one thing. Oh, I'll give a quick thing that we can put into the food one.
Okay.
Allison Green, I talked to Dean Allison Green today about it.
Oh, shit.
And she, you know, she's in the city. She isn't the person in charge of it, but, you know, mainly after the fiasco of her dance, I'm sure she's trying to make her, you know, reputation better.
Throwback to our very first episode.
She said to this group of students that were meeting with her that if we message her and we let her know that we're struggling, that she will, you know, personally help you out. So I would totally encourage you to message, even if you're not in Tisch, message Dean Allison Green. If you're in drama, Dean Cameron tends to be a very helpful resource. He's been extremely kind to me. I didn't know he was a dean until much later on because he was so kind to me. And Anita and everyone else, Chris, everyone in the Tisch department on the second floor of the Liberal Studies building or the Health Center. If you go there, I think they might be working in person, they might not be. But I encourage you to look into the Tisch offices and those people. Email any one of those. I'm sure they will try to be proactive about helping you out. Sometimes you don't know who to contact. Those are some of the people, and I can give you emails if we want to put that up.
Yeah,
just reach out to any one of them, and they will do a dance for you.
Yeah.
They'll make a TikTok for you. They'll shout you out on TikTok.
Okay, so next up, speaking of TikTok and
Wait, do you want to talk more about housing?
Yeah.
More about housing? Yeah, sure.
I would say it took me until this is the first year I've lived in an apartment. I lived in dorms freshman, sophomore, and junior year. And I would say get off campus earlier. Because, you know, chances are if you do just like a decent amount of hunting, find some people you want to live with, it's oftentimes cheaper. You might be a little bit farther from campus, but, you know, that's not the worst thing in the world, honestly. And the places you can live aren't just, like, boring-ass dorm rooms.
Yeah, and on moving to an apartment, I would also say that I moved off campus my sophomore year, and I moved into I think it was illegal technically, but a quasi-office apartment thing in Chinatown for really cheap by myself, basically a studio. And I was like, yeah, it's awesome living by myself, having my own space. But I would say that it is a lot more fun living with friends, unless you are a total introvert who really just like completely wants your alone time. Like, even though I am frustrated sometimes and I wish I had like more space to like do creative stuff or whatever, overall I would say the socialization of living with people is way better than living by yourself.
I can't imagine living by myself right now. I mean, I'm sure people do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you save money, and it's very helpful for your mental health. And we were talking about the perfect number. I would say maybe more than 2 people. I think it can be, with 2 people, you're like, oh, like, at least in my mind, I was like, oh, am I bothering her? Like, we would be in our different spaces when we were momentarily living.
I never thought about that.
But I feel like now that the apartment has 4 people in it, I feel like we've been socializing way more because someone will start a conversation or someone will, like, bring a friend who's been socially distancing. It's always the same friend.
Yeah, we've all got these, like, negative tests coming back, so it's been nice that we can actually have friends over and be confident that we're not
For now, until we have to get tested again. And like,
I think we should get tested again soon.
One of our roommates bought like a communal basket of croissants, and we've just been all eating out of it like a trough, and it's sort of like the apartment water cooler.
Yeah, but that's nice. Like, you make a little extra food, like share it with people, like trying to design your apartment together. I think a group, even if you have like having more people in an apartment, it can be fun. It can make it more lively. And we talked about maybe if you want your own room, you have your own space, but you also have a common area to socialize.
Yeah, that's something that I honestly think is the sweet spot. Like, after I have tried living by myself in a studio, I have tried having my own room in a shared apartment, and I have tried having a shared room in a shared apartment, and my favorite by far has been having my own room in a shared apartment. And it is...
The first
that was
finger
technically
was
the
living
other
by
one.
yourself in the
Oops,
in the
wrong
studio.
finger, whatever. But it is, I think, somewhat a cost possible to do that as long as you get a small enough room. I did it when it was in Stuytown, and my rent was like $14.50 a month. That includes utilities, which is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
relative
We're
to the
paying more for
dorms.
the same room now.
Yeah.
Dorms. I'm paying $18 for this room.
I just interrupted you to say nothing.
Yeah.
I meant to ask you.
I man-interrupt you guys all the time.
Man-interrupt. I love that.
I woman interrupt.
That's not a thing.
But you lived in that apartment with people who you weren't super close with, right? Would
Don't
you
do that.
say that? Yeah. From your experience, how do you feel like if you find a really good apartment, a really good room, in a shared apartment with people you don't know? Or do you think you would encourage that over paying slightly more for being with your friends?
Yeah, well, what I would say is I think it was a better, like, price deal living in the other apartment, but I just really wanted to move in with friends, and I would say it was a great decision to move in with friends because it brings you closer to them, provides more socialization, even though, like, you can become friends moving to an apartment with strangers.
Yeah.
I feel like oftentimes it doesn't happen.
It's just more of a gamble, you know? I mean, there's also the chance that you move in with, like, close friends and then that you weren't living with before, and that living together
And that you hate each other.
starts to, like, slowly whittle you down, and I don't know.
Yeah.
That goes back to our previous sort of podcast about just take a shower, be a nice person, and maybe clean up every once in a while, and it's going to be really easy to cohabit with just about anybody.
Yeah.
Or find, like, a person to live with. Find people that fit what you want. For instance, Christina. We both, when we were looking for apartments, we wanted to save money.
Yeah.
We had, kind of close to Subway or close to campus. And one awesome thing about Christina is that she's really chill. Either she bottles up everything, or she seems pretty okay with, like, most things. And she's clean, and, like, we fit in many ways. So it's hard to tell if you're gonna find someone who's a good fit, and I don't know if I'm a good fit for her, to be honest. I'm singing in the apartment all the time. But so be mindful. I would say one huge thing is find people who want the same kind of price you want to pay, because you can find a really fancy, nice place that's going to be your dream place, but you just, like, don't want to be spending that money.
Or like what we did is with this place, Benji and Grace's, two of my roommates' price ranges were much lower than me and my other roommate, so we just found a place that had 2 big rooms and 2 small rooms, and it seems fair.
And you can often get a better price too. Like Gold Shot, one of our roommates was willing to pay significantly more than us.
Oh, yeah.
So when you, like, divide, like, smaller rooms or a shared room, you can make it work.
Yeah.
One thing I look for in my roommates is, are they nice to look at? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, they're roommates and they're dating. Whoa. So yeah, this is the post-millennial breakdown. I think our camera might die soon, so thank you for watching.
Okay. Yeah, we're done? Okay, we're done.
Camera's low.